Okay, and we're back on the air. So a lot of you saw my project in the other room, but I thought I'd show off a little more of the technical details of it. So this is actually a fairly quick project I did called temporarily titled it Motion Sensing Gaming Glove for the Commodore 64. But it would work on a VIC-20 and any other machine, or 128, any machine with the standard 9-pin. It would probably work on like an Atari 2600, but I don't know if there's power available on the ports.
There is.
Okay.
5 volts.
5 volts? There we go.
They use it for the paddles. I don't know how much current you get out of it.
Okay. Yeah, I only need 40 milliamps. So, motion sensing gaming glove for the Commodore 64. Oh, and so something I'm involved in. A lot of you know that when I'm not doing Commodore and retro computing stuff, I dabble in electronic music. And I want to make this music as interactive as possible, because watching an electronic music show is actually very interesting. The guy epically clicks the mouse, and then all the lasers and smoke machines start. So yeah, hooray! So I've been working with a group with some people from the Ontario College of Art and Design University, and OCAD is really interesting in that they do some ballet, and they do some dance, and they do sculpture, and they do painting. And in the last couple of years, they've been doing wearable technology. So as design projects. So someone there was doing a really interesting project called SOMO, which is a tiny board. You can see the picture of it there with the data stick for size. And the new version is actually smaller than that. And it's an accelerometer, a gyroscope, magnetometer, a little microcontroller that's Arduino compatible, and a wireless modem. The application is for a dancer to wear this on his or her body, and as they move, it generates MIDI data. So it generates music notes that get transmitted back to the computer and can be fed into any music program you're using, whether it's FL Studio or Ableton or Cubase, GarageBand, those kinds of things. So I saw this was something I could really use for my music, so I got very involved in it, and we actually started a company called Sonicware. And sonicware.ca has example videos and things, and we're going to be bringing this to market in the next couple of months. So I signed up to be sort of a other things we can use it for salesperson. And what's the other thing I muck around with is Commodore 64s and retro computers. So I did a little bit of hacking. So I've adapted it to a gaming controller. So again, using the same, because it's Arduino compatible, like what we want to do with the SOMO and Sonicware system is make it a platform for artists and musicians and dancers to write their own code and come up with their own algorithms and come up with new applications for it. So I've gone a little farther outside the box and turned it into a gaming adapter. So I read, the accelerometer gives you what's basically a gravity vector. It gives you the X, Y, Z components of a vector pointing straight down. So you can tell where the sensor is, how the sensor is oriented. This is the same sort of chip that's in your smartphone. So once you have those values, I've just set up a deadband and a threshold. So if you tilt it past this amount, or this amount, or this amount, or this amount, that gives you a direction. So I put it onto this little glove, just something I got at the dollar store. And again, with the wearable technology program at OCAD, I discovered this lovely, amazing thing called conductive fabric. It's regular fabric. You could make a T-shirt out of it, but it's fully conductive. If I actually did, take my multimeter and put it across, a square foot of the fabric, and it was, 0 ohms. So it's fully conductive. I guess they weave in carbon fibers or something. And I'm using a modem called the XB. So before I showed the XV, but which was a replacement for the XB. The XB is wireless RS-232 basically, but it has another mode called IO reflection. So there are input pins on one XB and output pins on its sibling XB. And so when you send 0 or 5 volts onto those pins, that's reflected on the other side. So it's like a wireless wire. So lots of really interesting applications there. So in this case, I'm really just generating those signals, up, down, left, right, fire, within the Arduino on the glove, sending them out to the XB, and it goes to the receiver plugged into the joystick port. Again, on, off, on, off. I go through a buffer chip, and in it goes. So a bit of a block diagram. I like to give all the gory details. So there's the IMU, which you read over I squared C. The Arduino, then I calculate up, down, left, right. Fire is a separate input through the conductive fabric. The original SOM only has the 3 I/O points, so I had to add a couple more. From there, the XP takes those inputs, transmits them over. The protocol it uses is called Zigbee 802.15 into the other XP where it receives it. And then I'm going it through a 74 LSO5 just to do. It's an open collector, so it simulates the joystick in that when it's low, it actually pulls it to ground, but when it's high, it's not 5 volts, it just disconnects. So it's like a switch. And that goes into the 64 joystick port, and the 64 can't tell the difference. Oh, and that's all I have there, so do a little live demo. There's 2 things I'm going to show off. So, file manager. I don't suppose we'll have any sound, but so I'm just going to fire up my favorite game, Zone Ranger. Oh, we don't have any sound, but so here's the glove, and I'll have this at my table. If you haven't tried it out already today, please come by and give it a shot. So I've got some little LEDs on it for diagnostics, so I can switch joystick ports. There, so yeah, so up, down, left, right, and fire. But the range on this is pretty cool. Like I tried it in the other room, I could go all the way to the back of the room. Because we want to use this in a live performance for the music application, we didn't want to use Bluetooth because the range is so limited. We don't do it. You should be able to get a mile with this if you're outdoors. So indoors, it's like 800 feet. So I can sit back here and play the game. Sure, there's no sound, so you just have to travel on. Yeah, so here I'm playing. How far can I get?
I'm not hacking your phone.
Sorry? Well, see, the XP actually has it's tied to serial numbers, so I've got a pair of serial numbers, so you can't hack it on. I'll just go for level 7 and all that. Yeah, I know that. Okay, any questions on that while I load up the next part of the demo?
How much tweaking did you do to get the sensitivity the way you wanted?
I had it going within half an hour.
Yeah.
So I tried, 20 degrees and it was too much. I was really going at it, so I set it to about 10 degrees. So this is to be a bookend for Glenn's demo. Let's go under operating systems, GEOS. Because most people use GEOS with with paddle or with the mouse, but because it works in joystick mode, I can do sort of like this Minority Report, 80s style thing with GEOS. Once I have it. Yeah, so there's GEOS being controlled with the glove.
Oh my god.
Now there's the shortcut screen. So this takes a little more finesse. Because it's only on-off control, and I suppose in theory I could add do proportional control and mimic a mouse, but not currently doing that.
So you're tweaking your fingers together to make it
To do the mouse click, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like pressing the fire button on the. Okay, pausing because Jason's in the phone. Well, of course, I can do this from back here too. How do I get file? And And so this is Glenn's GeoLink application. Yeah, well, Author Shadow M.
Thank goodness.
So I don't have it on the on this Geos image, but GeoPaint is rather entertaining with this.
It looks like you actually have decent control over it too. I mean,
It's,
you're hitting the menu options you want to hit.
Yeah, you can see I'm not getting it.
What's
perfectly.
click?
Sorry?
What's click? What?
Click is
Oh, tapping. Okay.
it's just it's because it's just simulating a fire button.
Uh-huh.
And now I've lost the point or something. Okay, well, that's a good place to wrap up. But so there you have it.
The IRC community thinks that's awesome. Even in Australia,
Oh, well.
and you know, they're hard to impress.
Great. Well, thank you. So I'll have all this set up back at my table if you want to play around with it. And
Cool.
Now I
have a more
have
closer
truly
look.
seen everything.
I thought I'd seen everything when I saw, IRC for Geos, but.